Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, September 30th. I'm back with Brooke Taber, our weather specialist. We want to first of all let you know that the community meeting from last night is on both YouTube, our channel, which hopefully you're following and subscribed to because we do put extra footage there. It's also on Facebook on several pages, Shasta-Trinity, Six Rivers, Mendocino. Your comments are being answered throughout the night, so folks who watched on the replay, your comments are being answered. And also we wanted to let you know we put up extra special footage that we got from Mike McMillan, our smoke jumper PIO, Public Information Officer in the field, of dozer work around Ruth Valley, of some fire behavior on the lake. We want to be transparent and show you the area, so we shot some footage going through Forest Glen so you can see the fire effects. Get on board with our YouTube channel so you can see what's going on. Later this morning, we're going to put up a piece about the columns that Brooke's been talking about. And Brooke, we know that folks all the way over from Xenia and Kettenbaum and Wildwood and Smoky Bear and Hyatt-Palm and Wildwood and everywhere in here, Mad River and beyond, are now really attuned to all the different evacuation warnings and orders, and that weather is a key driver in how this fire moves. In your expert opinion, what's our update and how are we looking?
Yeah, so let's first talk about that smoke column that you had mentioned the other day that you have taken a picture from. If I'm correct here, you were on the north side of the fire looking.
Yep. I drove through down the Ruth Road. I didn't go all the way into Ruth because it was too dangerous, and you had actually just called on the radio and told everybody that it's going to collapse. So I did a stand-up shot. It's going to go on Facebook here in about a half an hour. It's already cut and ready to go. Looking back, and it was a dark, ominous cloud with ashfall coming out and all the rest of it.
Yeah, so that smoke column was right here near DP 126, and what had occurred, the fire had developed enough warm air, a lot of rising of air, and what you were seeing with that dark column was ash, smoke, particulate, just all sorts of different ambers and debris that were suspended all the way up to 25,000 feet high. And I was basing that on the Eureka radar that's way up on the coast here. So 25,000 foot column of smoke that was being suspended, and I provided a weather update because that column was going to collapse. And when a collapsing column, it produces like a thunderstorm outflow kind of air. And I was worried, very concerned about the resources, the people down in here, of outflow winds of 40 to 45 miles per hour, which I do believe had some impacts down here at the spike camp that evening. So we had good heads up, good awareness, and people took the proper action due to that column. And
that smoke now, we have a big inversion in, right? That's part of your weather message for today is your inversion?
Yeah, that's correct. So today, inversion, instead of that column lifting up, we have a cap on that boiling water. That air is not rising as much, and that's helping to spread out the smoke across a lot of these deeper valleys, the Ruth Valley, the South Fork of the Trinity Valley, here across the eastern portion of the fire. That cap is holding in place. We're simmering that air, pushing it down towards the surface. However, with that said, we have some higher terrain right here, the Mad River Ridge, and I'm getting the early visible satellite pictures, and I'm starting to see columns develop of smoke. And that's indicating to me that air is high enough, that ridge is high enough, that air is starting to rise in that area, starting to see a little bit more increased fire activity in especially this South Fork of the Mad River Ridge, probably above about 4,000 feet or so.
So what forms that cap? You had mentioned that we have a cap over the fire. Is it sunny up there and then there's a temperature difference? Is there atmospheric winds that hold this thing down? Is it the coast? What is it? Is it the valley? How does that work?
Yeah, the cap, you hit it all right. So what we have is very light winds. We're not having that transport winds that we've seen the last couple of days to help move that air, southwest to northeast or northwest.
Yeah, because last week, right, we were getting cleared out of, when things were going well for us and we were holding our line, it was clear here. Then the wind would blow over Reading and it would be clear in Hayfork, and it was doing all that.
Yeah,
That's over?
Yeah, we just don't have the winds aloft. Looking up at 10,000 feet, the winds are only 10 miles per hour. So that air is just holding there, and the high pressure is building down substance, pushing down onto the surface of the earth, if you want to say, and keeping that air from rising. So light winds, strong substance, strong pushing of the air mass down, and limited mixing is really helping to push that smoke around in the deeper valleys where visibility below 1 mile at times in the Ruth area.
It is dangerous driving in there. And so it sounds like, from what I heard earlier, and let's break this down for folks, where there's elevation on that Mad River Ridge, on the South Ridge here, then you're going to get more of the active fire behavior because it's poking up through the cap, and then in other areas, maybe the fire behavior decreases because it's sort of smoked in and doesn't have as much chance to get fueled?
Yeah, there's, in those deeper valleys, the roof area, smoke is limiting the surface heating from the sun, not getting that mixing, and much lighter winds, so less fire behavior, I would think, in the roof area today. But as you increase your elevation, you get a better potential for some heating, more sun, especially in the lined southwest aspects today, given the southwest winds, increased fire behavior as we go through the afternoon and evening. Speaking of evening, I want to just touch on the potential winds tonight that I'm looking at. So we have a very cold source over here called the Pacific Ocean and cold water. And as you know, over here in Sacramento, it's been very warm, 90.
Whole Sacramento Valley and Redding and everything?
Yeah,
cooking?
90, 100 degrees. Well, there's a large contrast in air masses. And tonight and again on Thursday night, they want to become in equilibrium with each other. They want to balance each other out. So the cold air sort of wants to flow where the warm air is and vice versa. So what we're going to see are localized ridge-top winds, 4,500 to 5,000 feet, become from the northwest to the southeast with gusts up to 15 miles per hour or so. And that's going to be in combination with those very poor RH recoveries that we've seen, 20 to 25% overnight tonight.
To break that down, poor relative humidity recoveries mean that the fuel will burn hotter and easier?
The potential is for that to that occur. So 20 to 25% above 45 to 5,000 feet. With those increased winds, 15 miles per hour, as we've seen, it doesn't take much. So a heads up tonight. And the same thing is going to happen again tomorrow night. Cold water here, warm surface over here. We have that thermal difference, the temperature contrast, and we'll look for northwest winds again. And indications are they could be just a little bit higher, 18 to 20 miles per hour. And the greatest potential would be on that east side, once again above about 4,500 feet.
Okay, great. And we know some folks are checking the fire information either on Facebook or on IncyWeb all throughout the day. You'll get YouTube notifications when we put videos up. Where would somebody who's doing that, who's really sitting here in Post Mountain really worried, or over here in Mad River, what have you, out in Xenia, and they're wanting to update their own weather report throughout the day, what do you suggest for folks to do as they want to kind of track if we're going to have a red flag event, or if the winds are suddenly going to pick up and become critical, the winds you talked about over the next couple of days? What's your advice?
Yeah, I would do weather.gov. It would provide you with the local weather service office, whether it's Eureka or Sacramento. Click on your area of interest and it will give you a point forecast, and that would be very helpful with details of wind, temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, and all those important factors that go into expected fire behavior.
Great, so weather.gov. We'll also put the mapping tool that we put in the community meeting chat last night, the virtual meeting. A lot of folks were saying, hey, where's the fire in relation to my house? There is a tool that shows the map of the fire with the heat dots. They go from 48 hours to 24 hours to present. Will also be, if we have some sort of big red flag warning like we did last weekend, we will break in with Brooke or whoever's here, because we know that's really important. But just to sum it up, it really sounds like the situation, even though we're not in a red flag day, because of the historic drought, because these fuels, I mean, everywhere you go, you just look around, nothing's recovering overnight.
We're nowhere near the event we just had. This is going to be much more localized, much more terrain driven across the higher elevations, and affecting more the eastern portion of the fire as we go through tonight, and then again tomorrow night into Friday morning. So no red flag as we see it right now, but just the heads up there to be aware that overnight tonight and again on Thursday night with that. I do want to say I've looked out into the crystal ball a little bit further, and potential here of a sort of a pattern shift as we get into the October 10th, 11th, and 12th frame. We want to build a trough across the northwest, and that will increase our potential for some rain, some precipitation with cooler temperatures.
The R word?
Yeah, the R word, the four-letter R word.
If we could get some of that.
Yeah, we're working hard to try to dial that system in, dial that pattern change in, but confidence is beginning to increase for a potential pattern change as we get into the middle of October, which would be slightly cooler, more moisture, and the potential for lower or higher relative humidity. So we're watching it. We're still 10 days, 12 days out, but just a heads up there.
Okay, great, thanks. And for folks at home, The operations briefing with Karen Scholl is on Facebook right now. Go ahead and watch that. That's where she walks around the fire and tells you what the fire operations plan is. We bring in the special guests on the Break It Down to give you more what we call situational awareness. That's part of the Green Pants Nation. One of the things we do all the time is try to keep a common operating picture so we understand what's going on, and situational awareness so we know how things are going to change. We appreciate everybody who has sent us messages saying that they've evacuated, moved their family out of harm's way to the coast, taken their belongings out of Post Mountain and other areas. We appreciate that. We don't want to put anybody at risk, and we don't want firefighters to be at risk. This is a Neighbors Helping Neighbors campaign, and truly, we are all in this together. Whether we're from a different state or a different part of the country, we have 1,400 people here working together. We have everything from camp crews from the Civilian Conservation Corps to local engine crews to contract dozer operators and professional loggers. Everybody is in this together. We are all one group trying to get through this really hard time. If we get rain down the road, boy, even a little bit would help for a little bit, but still it's going to take a lot of season change to change these fuels. And as these fuels consume, we're going to see columns. The columns are going to cause problems, and that's because there's just a lot of trees, a lot of dead and down in the woods, and that's something that we are all facing right now. And Brooke, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here. We'll go ahead and close out. We'll come back with you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.